What's up, everyone? Before I start, thank you so much for tuning in here. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please blow this video up. Please share it. I'd love to hear from someone directly from Ranger because, yes, although I'm working with my dealer and have spoken to some one level higher up for the most part from where my dealer is, I really haven't heard anything from Ranger, and I don't want anyone to have to go through what I have been going through and am currently dealing with my current 2021 Ranger RT198p. And with that being said, we'll dive right in. Obviously, I'm not out on the water. A lot of you have been asking for this video, reaching out to me, asking me a lot of questions, as you can tell by the title. This is going to be a very in-depth as far as the experience I've had with my 2021 Ranger RT198p. Picked it up on, I think it was May 25th. I believe it was May 25th. So I ordered it in late January, early February, came in May 17th. The shop was busy, so I ended up getting it towards the end of May. Now, first, just a disclaimer. This has been my dream boat for a while. For those of you that saw my first video, if you haven't, go back and check it out. It's titled, I Bought My Dream Boat, because this, for a while, and, still is, like, I'm sure when everything's going well, is my dream boat, right? Like, I'd love to have a 200, 250 on it, whatever. But, like, honestly, the boat is a great boat. And there's a lot of reasons why I chose that boat. Go check out that video. This is basically just an update as far as my experience with the boat for the past 5 months, honestly, to the day. So I have my phone because there's so much that has happened with my boat since I got it that I literally had to go ahead and create a separate document and just keep track of everything because it's been a disaster. So let me first say that just because my experience that I've had with my boat doesn't mean that you can't go ahead and buy a 2022, because we're nearing the end of 2021 season, and have a great boat. I just want to put that out there, but I also want you all to be aware of what I've had to go through and just like all of the crap and stress and frustration, disappointments, but also some good things that I've enjoyed about the boat, but a lot of it unfortunately is negative. All right, so, and the reason why I'm not filming this in my boat is because it's back in the shop again. We'll get to that in a little bit. So first things first, I mentioned in the last video that I was having issues with my Minn Kota Alltrex. Basically what would happen is when I would go ahead and deploy the trolling motor, and this isn't a Ranger thing, but I'm just like doing a full review as far as what I've had to go through. When I would go ahead and put the trolling motor down, something on the inside was like clicking. If I can find the clips, I will try to embed them in this video so you can hear it. Some of it's small. I'm not trying to blow this thing up, make it bigger deal than it is, although to me, a lot of the stuff just racks up to, it is a big deal. It's little stuff here and there that has just increased in just stuff that I've had to deal with since taking the boat, okay? I'd go ahead and deploy the trolling motor, and then you could hear the motor on the inside kind of go tick, 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 tick as the prop was spinning. I wasn't even on the trolling motor, so something on the inside was loose. I don't know what it is. I will be fully transparent. I bought my boat at Cabela's down here in Garner, North Carolina, and there's, we'll just say that my experience with one of the service managers over there, was not very pleasant. He basically told me, oh yeah, no, it's, the reason why it's probably not happening with your last boat is because it was smaller. I had a Lund 1775 Renegade. There's no way that it was the boat. He basically was saying, oh yeah, when you get on it really hard, it's going to make that ticking noise. My trolling motor does that. It's not normal. I have people that have bigger boats than what I have right now and are running an 80-pound Alltrex, and it's not making the noise. So if I can get that, hopefully I already went ahead and edited that. You can hear it. But that was one thing. That's something that's still ongoing. Still got to go ahead and figure out. So that's kind of the latest and greatest update on that. Let's see. Gosh, this is super long. Before I go forward too, I had to write a letter, okay, to Cabela's, and then they were going to go ahead and escalate it to the higher ups, okay? So I basically told them over and over again, like, I've had enough. I probably have brought in the boat back and forth since I received the boat on May 25th about 20 times in the past 5 months. It's been absurd. It has spent more time in the shop than it has on the water, okay? Like, it's been absurd. There's plenty of times where I'm just like, give me the boat, I'm gonna run it, you guys can have a whole week to go ahead and try to figure it out, right? And fix the stuff. It would get fixed, I'd go back out, more issues would happen, or it wasn't fully fixed, right? So I wrote a letter. They went ahead and brought it up the ladder, okay? I ended up getting in touch with the manager, operations manager for all of Tracker Marine, so all of Bass Pro and Cabela's, since Bass Pro owns Cabela's, and, you know, was super apologetic, you know, really kind of, you know, understood where I was coming from. I did feel more heard from him when I was speaking with him, and, you know, could tell that he was going to try to go to bat for me. Long story short, I told them I'm done with the boat. I'm done with the boat. I've gone through enough. When is enough enough? You know, I keep on giving, you know, Cabela's and Ranger another chance. Bring it in. Let's try to get it fixed. More stuff happens. More stuff goes wrong, right? And it's just, I'm done. I'm done with the boat, okay? Right? So that's where I was at with that. Now, mind you, I had been communicating every single time I had gotten something fixed, or when I came off the water, let them know something new happened. Something new is wrong. Or what we originally looking to go ahead and fix didn't get fixed. Or it did, and we're good, right? And I'll get into that in a little bit. So ultimately what happened was they told me that they wanted me. They reached out to warranty through White River, right? And they told me, oh, all right, you know, these issues that are going on, again, which I'll get into in a bit, you know, we want the boat back. Send it back to the factory. Oh, and by the way, since, you know, we didn't install the electronics, we didn't install the power poles and all that stuff, Kyle needs to go ahead and take it all off. We can't do it. So they told me that they wanted me to take everything off the boat so they could then go ahead, pay for a truck to come up, put it on a trailer, bring it all the way back down, look to see what's wrong with it, fix it, bring it back up, then I was going to be responsible for throwing everything back on the boat. Straight up not happening, and that's what I told them. So when I spoke to the operations manager, he said, don't worry about it, you know, let's, you know, at this point, like, you know, this is right when I mentioned, when is enough enough? Okay, I'm done. He went to his director and you know, he was like, all right, let's try to go ahead and get you a new boat. We're not going to make you do all that. We're going to get you a new boat, and we're going to go ahead and take care of this because we want a happy customer, and you're what's matters, which I'm like starting to feel hurt. I'm like, okay, everything, like, here's normal. Everything started down here from the day that I went to the shop, hadn't even hooked it up to my truck yet, and there was stuff wrong with the boat. Okay. And I'm slowly starting to feel like I'm making some progress here. So he goes ahead, a couple days go by, hear back. He said, hey, talk to my director. We're not going to go ahead. We're not going to send the boat back. He said the things that we think are wrong, we should be able to fix in the shop. Again, super frustrated. Just give me a new boat. Like, and I know it's not just that easy. I promise I'm not being selfish. I'm not trying to come across as, you know, I'm, you know, more than I really am. I don't really know. Like, I am a customer, paying customer, went ahead and bought my boat. I worked very hard for the things that I have. It's all mine. I don't come from money, right? I worked very hard to go ahead and buy this boat, you know, and it's just been an absolute nightmare. So a couple days go by, he says, we're going to go ahead and fix it. Okay, fine. So that's where we're at right now. The boat is back at the shop, and here's some of the updates that I have since it's been back at the shop, as they have literally torn it apart. Okay, so let's see here. The biggest concern is, and again, like, I have the videos on my phone, I'll try to add it in this video so you can hear it. The front left of my boat is popping on the floor. So I go ahead and step on it, and like you could tell there's something there that, whether it was a weld, a screw, a rivet, because Ranger is not fully welding everything, right? And nothing is completely welded. The deck is literally screwed, or apparently, I just spoke to them about 20 minutes ago, riveted together. Okay, had completely popped, because from the factory, I guess on the right side of the boat was not completely flush, and there was an 8-inch gap. So it wasn't even connected to the sidewall on the floor of the boat. It was just a hole. And I'm hoping to go ahead and get some pictures here. That's what I have been told as they went through the boat. They said that from the factory, it was not properly built, basically. They didn't say that, but that's basically what happened. And it's riveted. So there's 2 rivets on the side that they went ahead when they ripped up the carpet. They literally ripped up the floor. There's 2 rivets. Now, when I stood on the other side, completely popped them out because the right side was not fully connected. So when I stepped there, basically, it all the weight shifted and it popped these 2 rivets on the left side of the boat. Okay, so I would step there and hopefully again I can put it in the video here and you can hear it. Ridiculous, right? Like, what the heck is going on? What other structural issues are there with this boat? Whoever was assigned to this part of the boat, right, and putting it together, right? Like, someone has to have their name signed to this, assigned to this part of the boat, right? Like, this is not okay. All right, again, the boat's less than 5 months old, and I'm dealing with this, okay? So that's the first thing. So they're going to go ahead, they're going to deal with that. The second thing is in the center part of my boat where the steering wheel is and the bench seating, right? Because I don't have the center console, but or where the center console would be, just the floor. You step there and that creaks super bad. Same with the backside of the livewell, creaks super bad. It's the same exact noise that I had that was on the center rod locker. Come to find out, when we took the gas pistons out, folded the lid all the way back, there are 4 rivets that either backed out or not completely clamped down. So every time I would step on that, it would creak, it would squeak, and it was very loud. Again, since day one when I picked up the boat, hadn't even hooked it up to my truck yet. Stepped on that front rod locker and I could hear that. And I'm, all excited. I'm getting my brand new boat. I'm like, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it'll go away. It just got worse. So that's structurally, no, it is not okay since I got the boat. Knock on wood. The welds, they said, look fine. Pray to God that doesn't change, right? Because obviously you all see weld cracks. And honestly, you're going to see that with a lot of boats. People will be the first to go ahead and talk negatively than they will be to go and talk positively, right? Like that ratio, more people will go and complain than they will talk really good about their product, about the boat, whatever it might be. I have done both. There's things that I posted that I like about the boat, and then unfortunately there's more stuff that I'm asking questions to try to figure out that are just all negative. So that's something that I've been dealing with, and this has been an issue again since day one. Okay. So, my center rod locker as well is uneven. The center rod locker is supposed to be completely flush. The right side is lifted. There's about a 1/4 inch sticking up for the whole entire rod locker on the right side. So they're going to have to go ahead and they're going to have to fix that as well. And I asked and I wonder if that's because of the way that they welded the boat, right? Like, they're all hand built. Right, which I get, no boat's going to be absolutely perfect, which is totally okay. I understand there's going to be flaws. Again, like, enough is enough. Like, I just told them I'm not dealing with it. Like, this stuff needs to get fixed, and the last service manager was the least help ever. So, he helped out here and there, but he definitely, let's just say he didn't do it as much as the new service manager has done so far. Okay. Let's see. Speedometer wasn't working when I got the boat. They just went ahead and put a new tube. Worked fine. Here's kind of a scary one. The day I pulled my boat off of the lot, I heard something on the trailer, and I'm like, what is that? It was like a knocking noise. Every time the wheel would turn, I'd go, doop, 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 doop. Like, something was going on. I was like, what is it? I don't really know. One time, my buddy backed me down. He was in my truck, backed me down the ramp. I was in my boat and I could really hear it. I got a video of it. It's like, this is not right. there's a bolt that attaches the leaf spring to the shackle, was backed out a quarter of an inch. It was backed out a quarter of an inch. Wasn't even completely screwed down. And if it did, it backed out, but I highly doubt that because the boat was brand new. And I had only been out on it like 1 or 2 times before, and it was making this noise. Wasn't even fully, completely tightened down. The leaf spring bolt that connects to the shackle on the trailer was backed out a quarter of an inch. That's scary. Like, that's absurd. That thing backed out, like, who knows what would have happened, right? Just quality control is just not good. Received my boat cover. So I custom ordered my boat cover from Ranger. And the left side is supposed to come with a tensioner. Didn't come with that. It was literally just the strap. Tensioner didn't come with the cover, and which I've heard it's how it's supposed to come, but no loop was also sewn. So when I got the cover, it was just literally a piece of nylon. So I couldn't connect my boat buckle to my cover to be able to tighten it down. Like, what is going on? How do you miss that? You do one loop on the right side of the boat and you just completely leave the left one. I was like, how am I supposed to go ahead and tighten this boat cover? Like, this is absurd. So that was another thing. Was fishing a tournament a couple weeks ago. The cup holder in the front, as I'm running down the lake, the screws completely back out and the thing comes flying at me, almost hits me in the head. Like, I didn't even know what it was. Like, what the heck was that? Maybe a pair of scissors or something. Like, whatever. Like, what the heck? Run to my next spot. I look down to go ahead and put my trolling motor down. The front cup holder is completely missing. What I was told, well, actually, before I get there, so then I go ahead and I stop and I look at my back light. The back light, my stern light, my navigation light, it was all of a sudden like wobbling really bad. And like, they're really tall lights, and you know, legally you have to be able to see them 360 degrees, like, fine, whatever. I went ahead and looked, and the receptacle that the light goes in is connected by 4 screws. My dealer told me that it looks like whoever went through this boat at the factory, when they were tightening everything, was using a drill because everything was basically loose and stripped. So, like, you're supposed to use a screwdriver or something where you're not going to over tighten it, and then the screw's just going to keep spinning. Yeah, all 4 of those, there was 1 screw holding that stern light in. So that was another thing. So they told me, oh, go ahead, we're most likely just going to have to put bigger screws in there. Like, fine, not a big deal, whatever. The front, the next thing was the front graph plate on the new boats, right? Like, there's a plate now where you can flush mount your graph if you want to. I have a mount. I put a mount. I didn't flush mount it because I want to be able to move it like you're supposed to do. I even reinforced it and put, I think it was 1/2-inch fascia board behind it to make it even sturdier. There's 4 screws that hold that plate on. All 4 screws besides 1. All of a sudden, I look, my graph is going back and forth. I'm like, oh, maybe it's loose in the gimbal mount. No, that thing almost completely backed out. $3,000 graph almost went flying in the boat. 1 screw was barely holding on to that graph. So I went ahead, just got stainless steel screws, got the next screw size up, and got that thing down. And assuming that obviously I'm not going to get a new boat, what I'm really going to do when I get everything back and figured out is I'm just going to put small bolts with a nut behind it, and that thing will be rock solid. All right, what else? A cup holder, front fish finder plate. Okay, this is really important. This was an issue that myself and the previous service manager got into it several times. He was telling me that the issues that I'm having is normal, not normal. Every time I would steer, and a lot of everyone on Facebook, and I've gotten some private messages, have been commenting, asking me what's going on. Every time I would turn to the right, it would be very gritty. It would be a loud, grindy noise. Again, I'll try to embed that video in this so you all can see exactly what I'm talking about. Because some of you all said on the Facebook groups that you have this as well and you thought it was normal. It's not normal. It would be very gritty, right? That's the best way that I can go ahead and explain it. And it was always when I was turning to the right. I'd go ahead and trim my motor up and it wouldn't do it so bad. This got really hairy. So I went ahead, reached out to the service manager. and told him several times. I went back and forth. They tried going ahead and bleeding the lines multiple times. They replaced the piston and the steering column and all the whole steering system itself. And it's a Baystar steering system in these 198Ps. He told me it's normal. I said, it's not normal. I said, how about, have you reached out to C-Star yet? Oh, no, that's a good idea. 4 months, three and a half months have gone by, and they didn't even reach out to C-Star. I had to tell him to go reach out to C-Star, and I told him I was going to reach out to C-Star myself to see if is this supposed to be happening. So he's like, oh, good idea. I'll go do that. He reaches back out to me and says, oh, yeah, you know, what you need is an anti-chatter valve. And I'm like, interesting. And I asked him who he spoke to, and he gave me the name, and I called, and I had already talked to him. And I told him, I said, hey, did you speak to, you know, I'm not going to say their name, but XYZ person over at my, you know, my dealer about my steering issue? He said, oh, yeah. I said, okay, so here's the way that I understand it. On their website, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong here, so don't quote me on this, C-Star, or it's known as Dometic or something like that, is basically on their site where you can choose your hydraulic steering. There was a chart on there that specifically said Pro XS must have 150 Pro XS motors must have the C-Star steering in it, not the Baystar. I went back on the website and I couldn't find that since this issue happened. So I'm pretty sure they changed their site. Maybe they didn't, but I couldn't find that same page. On the other hand, I went ahead and spoke to the person over at Dometic. I think that's the name of it. I can't remember. C-Star. And I said, hey, did you speak to XYZ over there at my dealer? He said, oh, yeah. I said, here's the way I understand it. I have a 150 Pro XS. On your website, it says that I should have a C-Star steering system in it, right? Not a Baystar. He said, oh, absolutely. You shouldn't be having a Baystar system in that. If you have a 150 Pro XS? Yep. He goes, oh, so-and-so that is over at your dealer didn't tell me that you had a 150. I told him the anti-chatter valve, but if you have a Pro XS, a 150 Pro XS, you should be having the C-Star system in it. And the reason being is because there's what are they, valve, or not a valve, it was blowing something on the Baystar system because it was too much. It was the steering system was being overworked by this horsepower motor, right? So I said, interesting. What about this anti-chatter valve that you told, you know, the person that I'm dealing with over at my dealer? He goes, oh, he didn't tell me that you had a 150. Okay, interesting. So I go back and tell him I want a C-Star system in my boat. He says, nope, not happening, not going to do it. I'm not doing that for you. I'm like, okay. He said, we have thousands of boats going around the country and none have this issue. Well, obviously there is something wrong, and obviously I'm frustrated. I'm not going to just deal with it. Several times he basically told me just deal with it. Okay, I'm not going to just deal with it. So I went ahead and, you know, he said he's going to order this anti-chatter valve. Long story short, he's no longer there. So I don't hear anything. I'm like, hey, is XYZ person over there? Nope, he no longer works here. Shocker. All right. So I go ahead and I work with the team over there, and this anti-chatter valve gets installed, and it fixed it. It did fix it. Now when I steer, there's nothing wrong. Okay, so far, yet. Everything's going well. Thankfully, so it took 5 months. I just got installed a few weeks ago. 5 months to get this figured out. So if you're having that issue where it's gritty, and it only happened to me when I would turn to the right, you need an anti-chatter valve, and I would have your dealer go ahead and take care of that for you. And it should be covered under warranty if you have a new boat, because it's BS. You shouldn't have to deal with it. It's not normal. All right. Gosh, I'm getting worked up thinking about this. It's been an absolute nightmare dealing with this boat. Let's see here. All right. Oh, I remember, as I have it in my notes, they're blowing the seals on the Baystar systems. The seals were blowing because they were being overworked, which is what the engineer over at Dometic, C-Star, told me. But apparently, Ranger's not putting in the C-Star systems in it. You look at the Vexus boats, with the 1980s come with C-Star systems in it. It might be an upgrade, but that's what should be in those boats, not these Baystar steering systems. It's the cheapest steering system. Let's see. Oh, dash issues. Those that watch my latest PB video, I caught a 10.33 a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out on my channel. Go subscribe so you get those updates. I went ahead and was fishing a few weeks back. Caught my PB 10.33. Go to flip on the live well. Nothing. Go ahead and try to, you know, honk my horn. Nothing. Try to go ahead and my lighting. Nothing. The only thing that works was my bilge. So I'm like, great. Trying to go ahead and take care of this 10-pounder. Thank God I'm not fishing a tournament. And long story short, fish died in the live well. Didn't even have it in the live well very long. I very rarely keep fish. I take care of them. I love being in the outdoors. I never keep fish. You'll never really see me keep fish or kill fish. That fish died in the live well. I was literally took a bucket of water and was bailing water in and out so it could have fresh water. Long story short, bring it back to the factory. It was a fuse. Okay, they put a 5-amp fuse in there. Go back out. Nothing will work again. Fuse was popping. From the factory, they put the wrong fuse in there. It's supposed to have, for my dealer, a 10-amp fuse in there, and they put a 5-amp fuse in there. So that was my dash issues that I was having. And ultimately, you know, yes, I could have let that 10-pounder go right away. I was pretty stoked that I had it. You know, called some friends, showed them, and then by the time that I went ahead and, you know, was ready to let it go, the thing was sideways in the live well. Tried reviving it for 45 minutes, almost an hour. It wasn't going to happen, so I'm going to get a skin mount of it. Unfortunately, she died. But yeah, that's that. Oh, all right. So here's another thing. When I first got my boat, okay, like I'm taking delivery in it. It's the day. I'm going to pick it up. I go look at the boat, and I look at the front. There's a small chip in the front. I go and look at the back where the shipping cover was. There's 2 big, like, gouges out of the boat from the shipping cover where you connect it to your back tie downs, ratchets for your boat. That I hadn't even taken delivery of the boat yet. I was going to take delivery of the boat. Hadn't even hooked it up to my truck yet. And there was, from the shipping, gouges out of the back of the boat. Also from the factory, I have an Ultrex tolling motor. Those that are familiar with Ultrex, when you go ahead, because it's motor driven, right, in the head, they went ahead and put the pedal down and they wrapped all the cables up from the trolling motor, put it, like, here's the base, here's the trolling motor where you'd step, put it in between the base and the trolling motor, put the pedal down there, and was completely crimping and pinching all of those cables. I was basically told, oh yeah, no big deal, you'll be fine. If you have issues, let us know. Again, small, but like, be more careful. This is almost a $40,000 boat, and like, I shouldn't have to be dealing with all of this. I also went ahead and have the back regular fishing seat. I ordered a bicycle seat up front for me, and then whoever in the back, my wife or whoever wants to come with me, just the regular fishing seats with the back. I go ahead and went to go put that in the truck, and all of a sudden I hear there's something in the seat. There's something in the seat. It was either a screw or a big piece of plastic. And I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll see if I can get it out. Nope, it was on the inside of the seat. I bring it back to go ahead and, you know, say, hey, like, this isn't a big deal, but like, there's a big screw in here because it's very loud, right? So they go ahead, they give me a new seat, same exact thing. I still have the issue with that. That's something that we're going to go ahead and get addressed. Again, some of this is really small. I'm not trying to be petty, but when I'm taking delivery of this boat, I should be feeling pretty good. Let me go ahead and mess it up. Then I won't, it's my fault, right? But like, come on, it's kind of ridiculous. The USB plug, there's a USB plug on the 198p, so I don't know about the other boats, but the 198p, there's 2 USB plugs. None of those had power to it. The wires in the back were completely loose. Brought it back, and the wires were completely loose, and from the factory, they never even put a fuse in there for the USBs to be working. Pathetic. Let's see here. Yeah, so I mean, that's the majority of what I've been dealing with. Like, guys, for me, it has been a nightmare. I have not been able to enjoy this boat. From the steering issues to just pure poor quality control coming from the factory. My biggest advice that I could tell anybody is make sure you do your research and just know that you could go ahead and order a 2022 198p and everything could be fine. Just want you to be aware of what I've been dealing with, because nobody should go through the crap that I've been dealing with this boat. It has been an absolute freaking nightmare. I will say that every boat manufacturer is going to have problems, right? Cracked welds. You go on any site, you're going to see that. This video is just for you all to be aware of what I've been going through, so you can look at this stuff before you even take your boat, or just be cognizant and aware before you go ahead and spend $40,000 plus, depending on how you rig it. I mean, I definitely have more than that in my boat, but I mean, there's stuff that I took off my old boat that I put on this one to save some cash. But you're easily, call it $40,000 for these boats. Quality is not what it used to be. My buddy has a 2017. I was in that boat, and I noticed a lot of differences in that boat compared to mine. I see more tracker details because they're being built in the tracker plant. Regardless, however you want to say it, the gunnels are taller on these boats now, and just the quality. The rod tubes, that was one other thing. The rod tubes on the left-hand side. So you have the rod tube, and there's a black piece of plastic they just go ahead and connect, so so they can screw it to like the plate. You can't take those left side rod tubes out because there's a brace there that's holding the deck. Because I tried, I went and looked. I undid one of the screws in the tubes. It took the manufacturer, the factory, 3 times to drill 2 screws to put this one rod tube in there. I undid it. You could see 2 other times that they tried to do it, because they don't make the circular part of the tube and the outer side where you use the screws. They only have that much to go ahead and put the screw in, which you think is plenty. Honestly, it's probably less. It's maybe 1/4 of an inch. It's just stuff like that. There was glue everywhere. It's just not what I thought I was getting. I'm extremely disappointed in this boat. Been nothing but issues. Again, just want you all to be aware. Comment down below, subscribe, so you all can stay in touch with what I've been dealing with, because like I said, it's at the shop right now, and we're getting this figured out. I'm also having major issues with my boat plowing water. I cannot get that thing over 47, 48 miles per hour. My RPMs are not up as well. I'm pushing too much water. My spray is happening at my console of the boat, where the spray shouldn't start, in my mind, at least from the live well back. So I'm not getting the lift that I should be getting out of this boat. Let's see, anything else? I mean, what I will say about the boat, the deck is huge. The live wells are deep. I think it's got a 32-gallon tank, gas tank in it. I think I could be way wrong. That could be way off. It's got plenty of space. The storage is actually pretty good. I think they could make the back lockers bigger, and honestly, even the front side ones even a little bit bigger. I will say that I think I would really enjoy the boat if it was built the way you would expect a boat to be built, quality-wise. And if it performed the way that I thought I was going to be getting, there's guys on here getting high 50s, right? I would expect that. When I first broke the motor in, it's like the longer I've had the boat, the slower it's getting with light tackle, right? Like when I was breaking the motor, I got 58.5. I was like, this is great. Put some tackle in there. All right, fine. I'm getting, 56, 57. Put some tackle in there, right? Like, it's going to happen. I put poles on there. I only lost about a mile per hour, we'll call it 2 miles per hour. I was consistently getting 55, 56. And then, like, the more I go out in it, the worse it gets. Like, the past couple times I've gone out, I can't get it over 48 miles per hour. If I want to do 48 miles per hour, I would have bought a 188p with a 115 on it. So that's just, again, just kind of another complaint that I have about it. The trailer is okay. You can already tell some areas it's already starting to rust. Again, this boat's only 5 months old. It's garage kept, so the only time it's gonna be out in the elements is obviously backing it down, just going into the water, and then when it's raining out. But like, you shouldn't have to worry about that. My front winch is back down 1/4 of an inch, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and tighten that. But overall, it is what it is. I really honestly would have bought a Vexus, but Vexus is $8,000 more for practically, okay, don't take this the wrong way. It's practically the same boat layout-wise. I know it's not the same boat because it's not 100% aluminum, and the quality is obviously better. You have fiberglass live wells, fiberglass compartments, it's half fiberglass hull, and then you have the rest is aluminum, but that's what you're going to get, right? Like $8,000 more, you're spending about $46,000, right? The way that I got my boat rigged, it was $37,000 out the door. And a new boat is now went up to $46,000, I believe. So honestly, $9,000 more, and that boat has tiny graphs on it. That's no power poles. You add upgraded batteries, you're adding your switches, you add upgraded wiring. You're easily looking at about probably $55K for an aluminum boat. I'm not spending $55K for an aluminum boat unless it's got at least a 200 or essentially a 250 on it, right? I prefer aluminum, but honestly, like I've considered going back to a glass boat, but I really like an aluminum boat. That's just kind of what I'm going through. I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted from dealing with all this. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I don't really have a choice though. I'm not going to go ahead and just sell the boat to someone else to go ahead and deal with, because I don't want anyone ever to deal with what I've had to been going through. I've talked to so many people. I have made at least 20 trips back and forth to the shop. Just so much stress, so much money for just a gigantic disappointment. And I've minimally been compensated for all the crap that I've been dealing with. Very, very small. For all the stuff that I've been dealing with, I've gotten practically nothing out of it. Again, it is what it is. If I got a boat that worked the way that it was supposed to, I would be happy. I'd be fine. I'd be loving it. I'd be posting all these great videos. Well, let me just say, I am out in the boat and I am filming, but there's stuff wrong with the boat, right? And it's always in the back of my mind. I'm just trying to enjoy it while I can, because this summer has been a nightmare with this boat. So that's it. I'll keep you all updated. Comment down below. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, so you can stay up to date with these videos. I try to post in the groups and whatnot, but I think I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to let the page organically grow. So if you want to be updated, go ahead and please hit that subscribe button. Comment down below issues that you have had. Please share this video, and let's let others be aware of what can be going, can potentially go wrong. Just so people can be a little bit more educated, if you will, as far as potential issues that could arise, again, with any boat. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned in and that has been following. If you have any questions, comment down below, and go ahead and share this video. Let's blow it up. I've honestly been through nothing but stress with this boat, trying to go back and forth and just trying to get a hold of someone higher up than my service level, service over at my dealership. So let's go ahead and blow this up. I will be honest as well, Ranger's done nothing. Obviously, they're approving warranty stuff as they should, but Ranger hasn't reached out to me directly. Ranger has done absolutely nothing to go ahead and address just the crap that I've been dealing with. It would just be nice to hear from someone over there and just feel like a valued customer, because I don't. I just kind of feel like, oh, yeah, this boat is good enough. Let's go ahead, let's send it out, and we'll be on our way. It's just all quantity over quality. So that's kind of where I'm at. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm exhausted talking about this. I'm over it. I don't even want to edit this, but I want you all to be aware. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll catch you later.